You're welcome to another edition of Islamic Finance Weekly. In this episode, we will explore Islamic microfinance banking and Nigeria's inclusive economic growth. Microfinance is recognized globally as a developmental tool to fight poverty. The aim of establishing microfinance bank by Central Bank of Nigeria is to make financial services accessible to the poor because of inability of formal banks to include active poor in financial services. Microfinance is about providing financial services to the poor who are traditionally not served by the conventional financial institutions. It is also the provision of financial services to low-income poor and very poor self-employed people. These financial services include small loans, savings, current, financing small business for the active poor, both in rural and urban areas of the country. It is a financial intervention that focuses on the low-income group of a given society. To take the conversation on microfinance banking further, I have with me the co-founder of Islamic Knowledge Foundation, Mr. Abdulkadir Abdullateef. Mr. Abdulkadir joining us from Malaysia. Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure having you on the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Microfinance banks globally have been described as agents of increasing financial inclusion and economic empowerment for micro businesses and people in the rural areas. So, Mr. Abdulkadir, how will you describe MFB operations in Nigeria since 1960?
Firstly, I would like to express my profound gratitude for giving me this opportunity to share my thought about the emerging element of microfinance banking in Nigeria. Because for having this orientative discussion on this socio-financial tool for economic empowerment and sustainable development is a good opportunity to discuss this kind of intervention, this kind of initiative. Talking about the initiative of microfinance banking or microfinancial services in Nigeria, ever since 1960 of Nigerian independence. According to many researchers, it is noted that microfinancial banking has been traditionally practiced ever since the pre-independence era, based on so-called self-help group model. In microfinancial system or microfinance, we have several models. So we have so-called Grameen model, we have self-help group model, and this self-help group model is being practiced back then in ever since pre-independence of Nigeria in 1960, whereby a group of people will come together, they will pool their resources, their funds in one account, in one saving account, and they will help each other. They will mutually help each other by lending the yield amount, the yield profit of that fund to their members based on collective democratic decision. So that's about the traditional practice of microfinance banking in Nigeria. At that time, the Nigerian government initiated many programs on economic empowerment, provision of employment, poverty eradication, ensuring economic development and sustainability. And they initiated two programs, which are the pre-structural adjustment program, they call it pre-SAP, as well as the post-SAP, which is the post-structural adjustment program. But meanwhile, when the government, the policymakers in position of the CBN finds out that the microfinance as part of the element within the programs to stabilize the economy and social empowerment and social development in the country. When they found out that the microfinance is not working effectively, because in 2005 we find out that the CBN, according to CBN in 2005, the contribution of microfinance, microcredit, is only 0.2 at that time in 2005, and which leads to initiation of another policy which they call microfinance policy, regulatory and supervisory framework, so that they can promote sustainable financial services for the SMEs, small and medium enterprises, as well as tackling the poverty which endangering the socio-economic development in the country. So this is the overview of the microfinance banking in Nigeria, which dictates that the microfinance bank in Nigeria has been in existence ever since pre-independence era of Nigeria in 1960, 1970, 1980, and in 1970, 1980, and 1996, we find that there is a drastic increase and decrease in the poverty rate in Nigeria from 27%, 45%, 54%, 35%. Meanwhile, the microfinance banking, the microfinancing in Nigeria has proven to be contributive to the socio-economic development, as well as empowering the small and medium enterprises. Meanwhile, the program of the microfinancing schemes has not been significantly contribute effectively to the small and medium enterprises, as well as to household income, low income earners in the country.
So what are your concerns on how microfinance bank can improve their services in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you. This is a great question, because as we observe, as researchers observe, based on the theoretical and empirical studies conducted by many researchers, they found out that despite that Nigerian government, in person of CBN as a policy-making body, they have already initiated many policies ever since based on the program initiated 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, but coming back to 2005, when they initiated the microfinance policy, regulatory and supervisory framework, and it was amended in 2012. They amended the policy, the regulation and the supervisory framework guidelines. They amended it in 2012, they also amended it in 2018, as well as in 2019. This year, which is effective in April 2020. But meanwhile, looking at the initiated policies, we found out that despite that that the CBN has initiated many policies, many regulatory and supervisory policies governing the operation of microfinance in the country, we find out that there's a loophole in terms of management skill, as well as the as well as lack of source of fundings. Meanwhile, to talk about this based on your question, so I suggest that the government should facilitate the microfinancing services by providing socio-economic infrastructure for this sector, microfinance sector. But before you can do that, I think it is more important to look into the crucial element, which is management skills. So the government need to look at how they can empower youth as well as the industrial personnel, so in contributing so that they can contribute to this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulkadir, for those insights. You see, the agenda of this current administration is to lift 100 million Nigerians from poverty in the next 10 years. How can Islamic microfinance support this effort in eradicating poverty that is prevalent in the Northwest or Northeast dominated by Muslims?
Coming to the importance of Islamic microfinance as an effective tool, if I can say, because looking at the previous, the current conventional microfinance, it can be found that one of the main issues that hinder the promotion of small and medium enterprises is the interest rate charging by the microfinancing financial institutions. So the interest they are charging is high for the small and medium enterprises, as well as the small businesses like micro agricultural farmers. So, which is why it is good to implement, to institutionalize, and globally and effectively implement the Islamic microfinance. And to do this, the CBN has already initiated many policies ever since, starting from the BOVIA, which is the banks and financial services act. Yeah, the BOVIA of 1991 has already been amended in 1988, 1987, and it has already been reviewed. And they also initiated in 2011. They initiate regulation and supervisory framework for non-interest financial services in Nigeria. And also in 2000, coming back to microfinance, in 2017, the CBN initiated the guideline for a non-interest microfinance banking in Nigeria. So these are all the contributions of the CBN in terms of this. Meanwhile, it is good to look into the importance of creating awareness. We have to sensitize people on the importance of microfinancial schemes, its product, as well as its operation before we can initiate or before we can provide any possible policies. So coming back to the Islamic microfinancial schemes or Islamic microfinancial instruments. So looking at this, the Islamic microfinance, like you said before, is just like is similar to the conventional microfinance in terms of the mission and vision. Meanwhile, the microfinance was unable to facilitate, to exhibit its role. And looking at the Islamic microfinance as a religious element, when I say religious element, I mean it's based on Islamic principles. I'm not saying that Islamic microfinance in Nigeria should be provided or should be promoted only for Muslims. No, Islamic microfinance is viable for both Muslims and non-Muslims. So we have to promote Islamic microfinance in the country as an economic tool, not as a religio-political phenomena. So that's one of the mistakes in Nigeria. We have to provide Islamic microfinancial sector or banking or Islamic microfinancial institutions as an economic tool. So, and the Islamic microfinance, as you know, it has several instruments. It has several models. So talking about the models, according to one of our scholars, one of the researchers, Ubaidullah, so he classified that Islamic microfinance initially has two models, which are the non-for-profit models, based on the Wakala, Zakat, Qard Hassana, as well as microfinance. Yeah. And also they have another model, which is a profit or market-based model, based on Mudaraba, Musharaka. You can also add Wakala. It depends on how you structure the product. So looking at this, so for us to promote this product, or for us to market this product, we have to firstly survey the needs of the small and medium enterprises, as well as the low-income earners and underprivileged unbanked people. So you have to survey their needs based on their, demographic variables to know whether they need, non-interest loan, like using Qard Hassana, or they need, a sale-based transaction, a sale-based model, like using Mudaraba, for example, or we have to survey whether they need, a partnership model, like Musharaka, Mudaraba. So, and this partnership model is more productive compared to the previous non-for-profit model, which is the Wakala Zakat, because the Wakala Zakat are initially based on donation, like a donation-based models, though they can be applicable to market-based model if we structure it well, like we use like a Wakaf Sukuk, or we structure it like we use Zakat for economic empowerment. So which means that Islamic microfinance it has interdimension. So it depends on how you structure the product. So Islamic microfinance can be potentially contribute to the socio-economic development in Nigeria, most especially in poverty eradication.
Like you rightly mentioned, you talk about creating an enabling environment, harmonization, standardization. So I know the objective of the guideline is to provide the minimum standard for the operation of non-interest microfinancial banks in Nigeria. So looking at the issues of financing in Nigeria, which involves high debt, lack of cash flows, poor accounting practices, amongst others, how are Islamic Microfinance Bank exploring innovative products that can support micro businesses that share Sharia-compliant values?
Thank you. Like I said before, I made mention about the interdisciplinary ecosystem of Islamic microfinance or Islamic finance generally. So we have several instruments and several products, unlike conventional aspect. So in conventional aspect, they only have a lending and financing. Even the financing is structured like a lending model. So in Islamic microfinance institutions, so we have several instruments, like I mentioned before. So looking at this, as you said before, you said now that people are in a great debt, people are in need of financing, which is very important, most especially in agricultural sector, because in agricultural sector is one of the worst. In 1980s, 1990s. Agriculture was one of the elements that contribute to economic development in Nigeria, whereby Nigeria promotes a lot of things. But now we have deviated from this. Meanwhile, most of Nigerians are in agricultural sector, are farmers. So, for example, you can look into micro agricultural farmers who are in need of financing. Because if you go to a conventional sector or conventional institutions, they will charge you interest. Meanwhile, you are a small business owner, you are a low-income earners, you are catering for your family. So when looking at the application of Islamic microfinance, so we can use the product of Qard Hassana. So Qard Hassana is based on non-interest loan or non-interest financing based on how you structure the product. So if you can finance the small and medium enterprises using Qard Hassana. For example, in this new era, so agriculture could be one of the main productive elements in re-energizing the situation in Nigeria, the Nigerian economic situation. So you can use Qard Hassana, for example. And looking at those who are in need of financing, but they have the management skills, like for example in agriculture. So they have management skills, but they don't have money. They need capital. So how can you use Islamic microfinance to help them? To uplift their economic status. So you can use partnership model like Mudaraba. So if you use Mudaraba, so you will share profits. Meanwhile, you will be the capital owner, which is the Rabbul Mal. So, and the person who is in need of financing, so we be the manager, we be the entrepreneur. So we share the profit based on pre-agreed ratio, like 70-30 or 60-40. So we can use something like this. So that's a brief, a brief discussion on the Islamic microfinancial products in Nigeria.
And what is the outlook for Islamic microfinance in Nigeria?
This question is considered as one of the important elements which is in need of proper and effective attention. Because in my research, in my master research, I found out that most of the microfinance banking in Nigeria are conventional. Because as of December 2019, Nigeria has more than 900 microfinance banks in Nigeria. But let me ask you one question. Do you know how many of them are Islamic? We have just a few are Islamic. We have Tijaro Microfinance, we have Baka Microfinance, and we have non-NGO like Al-Hayat Relief Microfinance institutions. So, meanwhile, Nigeria has more than 50 Muslim population in the country. So if we effectively and proactively, more than 50%, if we proactively promote Islamic microfinance, this will be a great help to meeting the needs of Muslim people as well as non-Muslims, also who are in need of non-interest financing or non-interest credits, non-interest savings, like in microfinance or non-interest insurance-based scheme. So looking at to unlock the potential outlook of Islamic microfinance in Nigeria, I think what we firstly need, based on our survey, on our interview with beneficiaries of microfinance banks in Qard State, as well as based on our questionnaires and interview, so we found out that most of the beneficiaries are women, which means it's going to be a great help for women empowerment. Okay. Because most of the small medium owners and small business owners are women, so we have to look into how we can finance them. So secondly, like I mentioned before we can conclude or before we can promote or market any Islamic microfinance product, we have to create an enabling environment. So we have to sensitize people, we have to orient people about this Islamic microfinance, the product, the schemes, operations. We have to sensitize them that it's not only meant for Muslims, it's also for Muslims. And secondly, so apart from giving awareness, and this could be effectively done by reporters, which is why that we have to recruit reporters, we have to train them, knowing the Islamic banking or Islamic financial, and as well as fundamental knowledge in Islamic law, which is in need of which is based on the commercial transaction, Islamic commercial law, based on the promotion of justice, prohibition of interest, loans, all those things. So the reporters has a great contribution in this part. So if they know about the products, they have knowledge of Islamic finance knowledge, they will know how to promote it, as well as there is a need for digital marketing. So the new era, the COVID-19 new era, has been one of the if I could say, though it has negative impact, it has posed and a positive impact, a positive need of digital marketing. So we have to, the industry, the staff of the industry need to, to promote their, practical experience to digital marketing. So if they know about the marketing skills as well as digital marketing, they will know how to promote Islamic microfinancial institutions to the Islamic microfinancial products to the public. And also, this is from Islamic scholars. So Islamic scholars shouldn't say that the industry is based on conventional ecosystem. No, Islam doesn't say like that. In Islam, you have to engage. Even in non-Muslim society, you have to engage in commercial transactions, but you have to be sure that the activities are in accordance with Islamic values, Islamic principles, as well as Islamic ethics. And lastly, I would like to suggest the need of the ethical codes of Islamic financial institutions. So the CBN or the policymakers need to proactively take measure about how to initiate the ethical codes for the for Islamic microfinancial institutions as well as Islamic microfinancial professionals. Now, in the IOFI, for example, IOFI has just initiated its ethical codes now, which will be effective by January next year. So looking at these, ethical codes, if we find out that there is a religious accountability apart from the legal accountability and responsibility. So you have to be responsible, you have to be accountable for anything you do, how you do it, and how you promote the products.
Yes, indeed, COVID-19 has given us another chance to rethink and re-strategize. And I think the Islamic banking and non-interest Islamic microfinance in Nigeria should really invest in technology that will work for the operation and improve the services of these institutions. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulkadir, for your perspective. Can you list some of the factors that can unlock the growth of IMF Islamic Microfinance in Africa's largest economy?
Firstly, I would like to say that in Africa, the operation of Islamic microfinance in Africa is still small compared to other, North Asian countries or other countries. For example, in sub-Saharan Africa, only 3 countries are offering Islamic microfinancial services, like in Mali, Nigeria, as well as Cameroon. And Nigeria, as an emerging, high economic growth. So I could say that one of the main factors that are important, that are imperative for the effective growth of Islamic microfinance towards enabling and towards achieving sustainable economic growth. Also, towards achieving sustainable economic growth, sustainable economic and social development. So we have to look into reviewing the previous guidelines. So we have to review the guidelines. We have to harmonize and initiate standardized policies and guidelines, regulatory policies and guidelines. So that's my first important element.
Review the guidelines.
Secondly, secondly, most of the factors have already been highlighted before, which we need specialization in Islamic finance. So in collaboration of both Islamic scholars as well as industrial personnel, they have to come together and sit together to know how they can promote Islamic finance in Nigeria. And one of the crucial, which I could say the primary element for the great and positive outbreak of Islamic microfinance in Nigeria is the need for the I mentioned the standardization, harmonization, as well as the Islamic scholarship and industrial trainings. I mentioned all these things, and the last thing, which is the crucial element, is to create a theoretical and practical methodologies for Islamic finance education in Nigeria. because education is considered as one of the most important elements for enabling and achieving socio-economic development in the country. Because if you don't have, if you don't have an effective educational system, so you won't be able to achieve any socio-economic development. You won't be able to achieve any political stability. So the policymakers, as well as the stakeholders and educational administrators, need to come together and proactively initiate measures about the curriculum of Islamic finance. Though Islamic finance is an multidisciplinary multidisciplinary ecosystem, educational ecosystem. Because in Islamic finance, we have legal part. So we have finance part. And in finance part, we need the conventional part as well, which means that after training, after a scholarship and industrial trainings, so we have to come together and initiate curriculum, Islamic finance education curriculum in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria we only have like IIBF in Cairo University, and in the Qard State we have like one. Okay. So and also we are also trying to because we have already already established another Islamic finance education in our foundation. We have already started teaching people about Islamic sciences, and now in 2019, now in 2019 we established an academy, but based on virtual academy for now, because we don't have base yet. So we need to come together and create a curriculum so that we won't have multi-curriculum. So meanwhile, each institution will have its own curriculum. We have to come up together to have a standardized and a standardized curriculum for Islamic finance education in Nigeria. We have to create methodologies for Islamic finance education. Thank you.
What are your closing thoughts on the current regulations and guidelines issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria for MFBs and other financial institutions in the country?
It's a great initiative by the CBN. Meanwhile, we need to have a standardized which will combine all the guidelines together. Like for example, also we need to look into IOFI standards. For example, though IOFI standards has already been adopted by the CBN. Meanwhile, you have to refer to IOFI standards. But still, which is why we need management skills as well as educational skills in Islamic finance, because in IOFI standards we have IOFI standard is based on several school of thoughts. So for you to look into the viability of that, of the IOFI standards, you have to look into the maslaha, the public interest, because in Nigeria we are using Maliki school of thought. And the IOFI standard has combine the Shafi'i school of thought, the Maliki, the Hanafi. So we have to look into the viability of those school of thought. If they are not Malikite in phenomena, so we have to look into their viability based on the maslaha. So looking at the maslaha, public interest, that this standard, or this means this product is good for Nigerian citizens, or those are in need of finance, is good for them. So we have to look into the viability. Lastly, I will say that now we are having an emerging ecosystem of introducing Islamic finance or Islamic banking in Nigeria now. So we have Taj Bank, and we have Jais Bank, and also some other banks are coming up. So though having this is a great opportunity, and it's a great element for Islamic finance in Nigeria, but still we still need to create an enabling environment. We still need to orient people, Nigerian people, and we still need to train people, both youth and Islamic scholars, as well as the industrial scholars, to have extensive knowledge in both conventional knowledge as well as the Islamic knowledge.
Thank you, Mr. Abdulkadir. My takeaway from the conversation is that there is need for Nigeria to really invest in technology, standardization of the Islamic finance products, harmonization, creating awareness and enabling environment. And also, there is need for Islamic finance education in Nigeria. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulkadir for the enlightening conversation. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You are welcome. I'm very grateful. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts.
The primary aim of establishing MFBs in Nigeria is for robust economic growth, which cannot be achieved without putting in place well-focused programs to reduce poverty through empowering the people by increasing their access to factors of production, especially credit. There is need to reposition the microfinance bank to effectively support micro businesses across the country, who constitute over 80% of the micro, small and medium enterprises. Islamic finance has been described as the best option for real sector development in Nigeria and should be explored as a model for deepening financial inclusion and uplifting millions of Nigerians from poverty. And that will be all for this edition of the Islamic Finance Weekly. Visit our website for further updates on Islamic finance. Thank you for watching and see you again next week.